the top. I saw the clouds looking angry, but then the sky reached my mind. And when I space out, I see the possibilities unfolding the way that I want. That you showed up was written in my palm. You are a statement that explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You cut me loose. You make me win in every way. You show me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You show me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. Yes, I'm the winner. Cause I'm the winner, yes. Cause I'm the winner, yeah. Ooh. Yes, I'm the winner, yeah. Just an ordinary day, I was making my way. Who would have known I spent my last nickel on the super mega winning ticket? I was feeling kinda wicked when I heard my boss through the crowd, but I just smiled. What you gonna do with all that cash? I'm gonna stay out in an all-nighter bash. I'm gonna buy myself a nice suit and tie, and then I give my boss the finger in my private jet flyby.
Oh, people start to ask me like,
What you gonna do with all that green? I'm gonna feed my monkeys with it. They all hang out by the pool next to my backyard roller coaster with my face on a giant poster. Tonight we're having oysters with the Kobe steak in the toaster. Waiting to feed my lions and shit. You better deal with it. Wait here, I'm about to pick up Scarlett J and then Natalie P. What you gonna do with all that cash? I'm gonna stay out in an all-nighter bash. I'm gonna buy myself a nice suit and tie, and then I give my boss the finger in my private jet flyby. What you gonna do with all that green? I'm gonna feed my
Hello, everyone.
What up?
Hello. We are live. We are back. We are back.
I just gotta
Oh my
wait for the
gosh.
catch up here
We're
while
gonna wait to make sure
while
the
you do your
audio
thing.
checks and all
had
that
some
stuff.
serious bad voodoo in here about 30 minutes ago.
Man, we are having some
It's
audio
been
issues.
crazy. Gotta get an exorcist up in here.
I need a refresh on the live streaming because oh my gosh, everything was going wrong that could go wrong today. My goodness gracious. So happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. Moms everywhere, fur baby moms, moms of babies, all that stuff. Little babies. So yes, happy Mother's Day.
What up, everybody?
Whew, we're back. Sean and Steph Sundays, or Sundays with Sean and Steph, I guess I should say. Back,
Oh,
back,
anxiety
back.
with Sean and Steph. That was rough.
That was a really rough hour for us.
I'm right in the middle of finishing the Amsterdam episode, and Steph is like using all the words over here on this side of the house, and I was like, oof. So
It's really bad.
yeah.
Like since what was it, 2:00, 2 hours ago, before I was like, then have you ever had it where like time just sort of speeds up and you're like, why are you going so fast all of a sudden? That was me. I was just like in a crazy world. So now we're good.
We got the crazy part right. Woo woo.
Okay. Wait a second. So we are back.
Hey, Joseph, we'll get to your question.
Yes, give us a
you don't have
second.
to keep asking it. We'll get to you, buddy. We'll get to you.
We'll get there in a second.
We're going to talk about P&O a little bit, but we'll get to your question. Don't worry. We see everyone's questions. You don't have to repeat like over and over again. We got you. I promise we'll
gotcha.
get to you.
We
You're
gotcha.
asking a very broad question and it requires a really big answer, so we'll get to you. I promise.
Yes. So
happy Mother's Day to
happy
everybody.
Mother's Day.
And we are back from Europe. We should have gone live last week, but Stephanie has been on death's door for 3 weeks. I've kicked it really quickly, but Stephanie has just, actually, I wouldn't even say she's 100% today. So
I have my tea.
yeah, she's got her
'cause
tea.
I will probably start coughing if I can make it through this hour without coughing. It'll be a
But
miracle.
traveling in Europe was amazing, and we cannot. Hi to everybody. It's so great to see everybody.
Hello, everyone. Let's see. Isabel, It's a Gilmore Life, Amy, David, Pamela, Jill, Joseph, Melissa, ARGCM, Loves to Travel, Lashante, Hi Seas Escapades.
Yeah, we got hi to everybody.
Isabel,
This is awesome.
and Crazy Cat Traveler.
Don't forget about Madison.
Allison and Madison. Hi, Madison. Let's see who else we got here. Melissa,
Susan. Fat Guys Entertainment, Kirsty,
Kirsty,
Daniel, Joseph, Emily. It's great to see
Jake,
everybody.
Lisa. Oh, I'm missing everyone.
Michael,
if I missed you, I'm
Jake,
so sorry.
Yeah. So deep breath. Ooh.
We have a lot to talk about. Oh my gosh, so much has happened. It's been probably 4 weeks since we've been live. To talk to you guys about everything.
It's been crazy because Stephanie's been insanely sick, and John, I own like 3 copies of my 4 favorite shirts, so that's why it looks like I only own 3 shirts, but we really do have multiple copies. I love it. I just come from the belief that if you see something that you like, at least get 2 of them, because I always hear Stephanie cursing like 3 months later, "God, I should have gotten a second one." It's always the case.
Very true.
I love this shirt.
true.
It's very rare that I find clothes that fit me or feel good. So I'm loving the Macy's feel right now, but who knows? So UK.
UK. I am almost there, Brandon. I have a little bit of a cough. I appreciate all your well wishes. That's very, very nice. I'm getting there. I'm starting to get back into work mode, and it's
very slowly. Yeah, very.
So,
it's been a really long time.
UK.
Yeah. Yeah. So we had every intention of trying to go live while we were in the UK. While we do have a world phone, the data speed is half speed, so we didn't qualify to broadcast. And then, of course, the internet's not nearly fast enough on the ships. We even paid for the YouTube version of the internet, and while you can stream, the lady basically started laughing. We said we'd like to live stream, and she's like, "No, you can downstream, but you're not about to live stream." So
we did try.
We did try. So
we tried a couple times.
It's been a minute, so we won't do that again. We have a battle plan next time we travel. I will make sure to buy some data SIM cards, so no matter where we are, at least in port, we can broadcast. So.
Yeah, we missed talking to you guys and missed showing you. We saw so many amazing things, and we wanted to show you right then and there, and we couldn't. We're like, oh.
Yeah, there was, like the glacier, for example. Everything. Everything was unbelievable.
It's so much fun. So, starting out, let's get right into it. We will answer everybody's questions. Let's get through the P&O stuff and the UK stuff first, and then we'll get to your questions. First of all, talking about flights, getting to Europe was amazing. We did take a Virgin Atlantic flight. We did use our credit card miles, so it was free for us, which was amazing, and didn't
flying
have to pay
for free
for
is
that.
a lovely thing. Yes.
We did stay in premium economy, which is very similar to U.S. domestic flights business class, where it's the 2 seats. You get all the amenities. You get the really nice dinner. You get all of the eye masks and everything else. So, it was really, really nice. We loved it. We also flew overnight. Excuse me.
This is what I'm talking about. She's not 100.
I'm so sorry. So we did fly overnight. We left at 7:00 Orlando time, and we arrived in London at 9 a.m. I loved it. I love flying overnight. We slept. Well, I slept.
I did not.
Sean did not sleep.
I did not sleep.
So Sean had a teenager sitting in front of him she was on the window side, and her pillow kept falling down. So she kept reaching behind her, and every time she reached behind her, she grabbed Sean's leg.
Yeah, that was pleasant.
So neither one of them slept, not the girl or Sean, which was kind of sad. But I slept very well, and it was great.
It's all right. I took Scott Singer's and Ben's advice. Ben from Cruise with Ben and David. I drank a ton of water. I drink a ton of water in general, so it's not asking a lot. But I plowed through the water on the way over, and I felt great the next day. I did not feel tired or anything. I can't say the same about the way back. The way back was a nightmare.
Ooh, yeah, we so on the way forward, it was very, very easy because we slept probably about 5 hours it is a 8.5, 9-hour flight because it was nonstop. So when you sleep more than half of that, it's really nice. Coming back, we didn't sleep at all, and it was very, very, very difficult. When you feel every single minute, every single hour of the plane, you really just want to get off. You're like, I can get off now, please. Thank you. And of course, it was a Disney plane, so lots of kids, lots of
Oh
families.
yeah,
and
the main flight attendant announced, "Welcome to the Disney Express," and then when you hear that, you're like, "Yeah." Every time we fly home, that's exactly what we. It doesn't matter what country you're leaving from. If you're going to Orlando, odds are you're doing Disney. So
yeah, so it was. I mean, it was really fun. We loved the plane. I wish I had my little eye masks. With me.
Are they in the
I think
thing?
they're in
Okay,
that little
yeah.
bag. Isabel, we had these. We found these masks on eye masks on Amazon. I think they were like $12 a piece, and they were really awesome because they contour your face and they don't stick on your eyes. They have a. They're really nice. I won't explain what they look like, but you probably can guess what they look like. They look like kind of like a bikini top. But what's really nice about them is they are they have where they don't touch your eyes. So you actually open your eyes. At one point I opened my eyes and I was scared to death because I didn't know where I was because I forgot I had these on.
it's a good thing there wasn't a
So
third person
these
in our row.
are like a lifesaver, and we definitely recommend these. They look silly on, but they really work. They block out all the light because they contour your face with the nose.
Yeah, your eyelashes don't hit
It's
anything.
just really nice. So that's a recommendation. Love that. So that was fantastic. So we got to London. It was wonderful. Anybody have any questions on London?
Jake, we flew into
planes?
Gatwick, so no, the new airport, the new terminal looks stunning. But we went to Gatwick. It does have spoons though, so what up?
Spoons. Spoons is our new favorite thing. We love everything about Europe, but spoons, Weatherspoons is like our absolute like magical find that we found. Well,
Oh, yeah.
thanks to Emma and David and Julia and everybody else that we met. So speaking of that, we did get to meet people.
Oh yes.
It was so awesome. We got to meet up with Emma.
We hung out with Emma Cruises
Oh.
for the afternoon. She is as awesome or more awesome than you would think she is by watching her show. She just everyone we met was such a cool human being. We were just it was great. But Emma was so much fun to hang out with. She took us to the I-360 in Brighton, which was insanity.
Yes, we got to see Brighton.
Yeah, loved Brighton. Brighton's beautiful. Brighton's this really cool coastal city in Europe. You don't really think beaches when you're going to Europe, and wow, it's just stunning. It's just beautiful. I know you have beaches. I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying.
But it was a pebble beach.
Yeah, it was wild.
It wasn't sand. They were little rocks. I called it Rock Beach, and then Emma informed me that they're pebbles. So Pebble Beach, which was really, really cool. It was so awesome.
So we had
to
lots
meet
of
her.
fun comparing like silly things and phrases that
Yes,
make no
how
sense.
to be British.
Yeah, we learned how to be British a little bit better. Not well, certainly not testable, but it was just awesome. And then of course we had dinner with Emma, and it was fantastic. And then we met with David from Cruise with Ben and David. We had lunch at Wagamama, which is
So good.
an amazing.
Oh my gosh.
I wish they had it here in the States if they do, and I don't know about it, but wow, really good Asian food. And of course. David was awesome. We got to hang out with Ben at Disney, and so we got to hang out with David for his lunch break.
The other
Thank you
half.
so much, David, for sharing your lunch break with us. I know that's not the best when you're working, but we could have talked with him for hours, as everybody. So I feel bad for taking up his lunch break, but it was awesome to hang out.
It was really cool. And then just topped it off on our whirlwind of London meetups. We got to meet Julia, the solo cruiser. She is awesome. We had the best time. She gifted us a trip on the Thames. We did a Thames dinner cruise.
So cool.
Oh my gosh, we cannot thank you enough, Julia, for that amazing gift. It was so fun, so wonderful. The food was wonderful. The company was even more wonderful. It was just a great, great night. And it was a great way to end our 48 hours in London of just whirlwind of awesome. If you want to go on this river cruise, it is so cool.
Yeah, it's a great way to see London.
It is. We showed it in our episode 2, our travel day 2. If you want to look at that, it's. Was
Julia's
just
in here.
so
Hey,
fun.
Julia.
Hi,
If-
Julia.
So if you're not following Julia, that lovely woman we just showed you, that solo cruiser right there in the bottom of the chat, say hi, click on her name, follow her. Make sure to follow Emma from Emma Cruises and also Ben and David. I'm sure you're following everybody, but if you're not, please follow them all. They're all hanging out with Julia was so much fun. Hanging out with everybody was so much fun. And right
my
now,
gosh.
Julia's releasing Celebrity Edge vlogs, which is very, very cool.
Which we've been watching, and that is a
Yes.
gorgeous ship.
Gorgeous ship. It looks
So
like a Vegas
pretty.
casino. It does not look like a
does
cruise
not
ship.
look like a cruise ship at all. So pretty.
Oh, cool. Justin says there's a few Wagamamas in the U.S. That's good to know.
Wow, we're gonna have to find one in New York.
Yeah, just go to Boston. It's an excuse to go to NYC. So, yeah.
Ha.
Christy Evans asks, would you recommend the Norwegian Fords cruise? Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Mike, I hope sorry to interrupt you, but Mike, hope you're having a great time in Orlando. Enjoy dinner and
And Busch Gardens, nice.
yes,
Coasters.
love
Love the
that.
coasters.
yes. So Norway, we'll just skip around, right? We don't have to go in order, right?
There's no
So
rules.
Norway, there's no rules.
Norway was stunning.
Oh my gosh.
And the most surreal thing ever, we'll see this later in the reel somewhere, but the most surreal thing that I ever experienced was we were sitting there after a very long port day, cuddled up under a blanket together on the deck chairs, watching Bohemian Rhapsody on the big screen as the giant forwards go by. So you see these gorgeous mountains like you see on the screen right now sailing by as you're watching Queen. It's just like, this is the most surreal thing ever. And it's like, you know, 1,000,000 degrees below zero. It's really cold and we're really snuggly. It was just a really great memory. So, but the forwards were stunning. I highly recommend going when we went, because from what I understand, you won't see any snow in May through the summer. So go in April. It's cold, but you'll actually get to see snow. So.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
We got it super
Oh, thank you so much, Allison. Woo.
Oh, wait, it didn't come up. Whoa.
Madison.
It'll come up in a second.
Madison also says, you do great vlogging. Thank you, Madison and Allison. Woo! You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much. I don't know what happened there with our super chat. See, everything's going wrong today. Is it there? No, it's not there. So it's fine. But thank you, Madison. That was awesome. Whoop, back to our thing here.
Yeah, sometimes the technology just
sometimes
doesn't work.
It just doesn't work. It's just
ghosts.
But thank you so much, Madison. We love you so much.
Kai wants to know if we picked up accents when we were there. Yeah, you really could. If you stayed there for a long enough time, you would just slowly start acclimating, and it's okay. Everything they say, even when they're angry at you, sounds fabulous. I got cursed out by an old lady on a train, and it was almost worth laughing at, because when I think about it, as offensive as it was, it sounded so lovely. I'm like, she might as well have been saying, you know, I curse flowers upon your home or whatever. I don't know, but it was wild. So yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking at all the questions here. Norway, the forwards, everything was unbelievable. And if you want to see the glaciers here, we took a troll car up and down the mountain, which I highly recommend. If you want to see the glaciers, you best hurry, because apparently it's less than half of what it used to be a few years ago, and it's rapidly depleting. So, because of how hot it's getting.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Crazy. I mean, just Norway's beautiful.
Norway's stunning.
I cannot wait for those vlogs to come live, because the imagery is amazing. Just like Norway, Amsterdam also just as beautiful.
Amsterdam was so not what I expected. It was way cooler. We kept hearing all these wild rumors, like Amsterdam was almost like as dangerous as Barcelona, and it's like the Vegas of Europe, where it's just debauchery everywhere you look. And I'm sure you can find it if you're looking for it, but it's nothing like Vegas. We didn't run into any kind of crazy wild crowds, and where the wild crowds are, you can absolutely avoid. It's like 1 or 2 blocks. So the rest of the city is this gorgeous, beautiful town full of wonderful, amazing architecture, and everything's leaning and tilting, and it's just this, and everyone's super nice, and the food was the best food I've ever eaten in my entire life. And we saw the Anne Frank house, which was both interesting and sobering and bizarre and just crazy to think, especially when you go outside on the street and you look up and you're like, wow, I can't fathom all of this occurring right here. So everything in Amsterdam is stunning. It was beautiful. I know there's that whole, the controversy about Amsterdam right now, where you're not taking the cruise ships into Amsterdam. You're outside, an hour in Emuden.
Yes.
But look, the locks take you an hour to get through anyway. I know you only have to do that once, but it's really not that big a deal. And coming in and being dropped off at the central station was a wonderful thing. Plus, you get to see all the riverboats. So it was like, for the first time ever, we got to see every riverboat possible. AMA, Viking, you name it. They were all there. So it's really not that big a deal. I can see why it would upset people if they're constantly going to Amsterdam, but it wasn't that big of a deal. The shuttle buses were plentiful, and I don't know, it wasn't...
We loved it because we got to see the Holland countryside, the Netherlands. So for us, we wanted to see that anyway. So we got a free shuttle bus to do it. We didn't have to pay for it, which was really nice for us. But other than that, I mean, it was really easy. I think that people were saying that walking can take you 35, 45 minutes to walk into City Central. For us, our bus dropped us right off, right in the center, right next to the train station, and it was a 5-minute walk into the middle of Amsterdam.
You could moonwalk and get there faster than 20 minutes.
So
I don't know what
easy.
they're talking about.
And we ate dinner. Somebody asked about food allergies. We actually did get to eat dinner our very first time, because usually the ship is there, so we don't spend money in ports to eat, because it's too easy to get back on the ship, and where we already have all of our food is already taken care of. So we did eat dinner in Amsterdam at this place called the Pantry, which is an authentic Dutch restaurant in Amsterdam. We found it online, and we had the best food. Now, the food does not look as appetizing in a picture that it does when it tasted. It was so good. We had, I had sausage, and when you see, I think it just showed up there, there's 3 mounds of potatoes, and all those mashed potatoes have something mixed in. So one had sauerkraut mixed in, one had carrots and bacon, and the other had kale. And it was like the best mashed potatoes you've ever had.
I mean, it was just unbelievable.
Oh man, and the sausage was like a kielbasa sausage, which was wonderful. Sean had a meatball, which was also fantastic.
And then there's some
I mean,
crazy
it's so
apple
good.
pie like thing. It was the food
never
was
ended.
fantastic. So, but one reason why we don't typically eat on the ports is our port days are so short on these
So
ships
short.
that we're not going to burn 25 to 50% of it eating. So we can eat basically for free, included, not free, on the ship. So we just try to do other things. This time around, there was no wrist turning. So that was the best port we've ever had because for the first time ever, it didn't matter if we wanted to leave at 2 a.m. There's a shuttle bus waiting for you. So it was like really cool, not worrying or caring about what time it was. The only thing we had to worry about time was for our reservation for Anne Frank. Everything else was just whatever, whenever, and we loved it. So awesome.
And to answer your question about allergies, we just told the restaurant that Sean had a seafood allergy, and they said no problem.
Yes.
And they took care of him, and it was fine. We didn't have any issues. I don't think we ate any other. We ate like
Sweets, desserts,
Danishes and stuff, which
things
wouldn't
that were
be a
safe.
contamination issue. But for dinner, when we did eat at the pantry, we did tell them, and everything was perfect.
Isabel asks what day we did that. A lot of steps. That was Amsterdam. We did 16 and a half
did
miles.
16 miles,
So from
yeah.
basically we did a theme park day from open to close. We were on like the first shuttle bus out, and we were one of the last shuttle buses in for the night. Not that people weren't coming in. They could have. They just weren't. No one was traveling that late. But it was very funny just that for the first time ever, we forgot we were on a cruise ship because it's usually like, oh, what time we have to be back? What time?
It was.
didn't
I
matter.
have to say that when we didn't have the time crunch, we love cruising, as you guys all know, but it makes you really think about traveling without a cruise ship when you actually get to spend time and really enjoy an area. It makes you start being, I could do this a little bit more than just on a cruise ship with a 5 o'clock departure. Being able, I think we went back at 11:30 and or 11:30 or something, and it was just wonderful. We literally left at 7 o'clock in the morning and came back at 11:30, and it was wonderful. It was just the best day ever.
The best port day we've ever had. All other port days from that point forward felt lacking because we had to go back to, you get spoiled just a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're like, no, I got to go back to wrist turning. I have to check my phone. I have to make sure, especially with the upcoming ports coming after Amsterdam. We had one that was one train. What was it? Brugge?
Yes.
So in Bruges, you get dropped off in Zeebrugge or Zeebrugge. I don't forgive my
Here it
ignorant
is.
pronunciation.
I have it. Bruges.
Bruges. So Bruges is beautiful. Bruges is beautiful. Here's the
Brugge.
problem though. You get a shuttle bus that takes you to a train, and then that train in Zeebrugge takes you to Bruges. The problem is, unlike everywhere else in Europe, there's only one train an hour. If you miss it, you're literally sitting in a train station for an hour. There's a huge tax and a penalty to get out here. So you have to run because we saw people miss the train. It's terrible. So that was the inversion of Amsterdam. Amsterdam was carefree. Bruges was constantly going, because you're like, okay, the train comes in at like let's say it came in at 54. I don't remember what the time was, but it came in at 54. So you're looking on, okay, we've got 20 minutes to make this train. Are we going to stay or are we going to go? And then we're debating what we should do, and then we stay. And then it's like, oh, we got 20 minutes to the next 54. It was a nightmare. So, yeah. Hi, Renee. So, and hi, Cruising with Wheels. Forgot. Hi, Cruising with Wheels. It's so awesome that you're in here.
Hello.
Bruges was beautiful. I mean, totally worth it. The canal, we missed the canal boat in Amsterdam. So Stephanie literally ran like the first boat I see, we're riding it.
So
but
if
it was
you
beautiful.
want to do a canal boat tour, you need to do it.
Yeah,
And you have
very
not
first thing.
booked it through the cruise line, which we didn't. We only booked 2 excursions for Norway. You have to, as soon as you see a boat, get on it. Doesn't matter what's happening, get on it. Because we wanted to do a nighttime. We wanted to do an evening cruise in Amsterdam just when the sun was setting, but we didn't know we had to book ahead, so we missed that. So if you want to do that, then either book it ahead or go right then in the morning as soon as you see it, and then you can also reserve it at the same time.
How
And you
long
pick
was
your
the train
time.
ride to Bruges? It's like 25 minutes, 20
like
minutes?
30
something. Yeah, it was
30
long. It
minutes
was
or
long
so.
enough to be.
It was long enough to know that
you can still
needed to
take a
get
cab.
back.
You can take a cab,
Yeah.
but the cabs are like between $50 and $65. So that's a lot of money, and we'd prefer to put that on towards an excursion or dinner or whatever. But $65 for a cab ride into town or back from town was not something we wanted to do. So we did stick with the train.
The thing that I didn't like about Bruges was that the train only, like Sean said, only left once. So in an hour. So you had to get on it. You had to leave earlier than you had to leave because the ship wasn't leaving, but you were afraid you weren't going to make the train. So we left when there was only 2 other trains left that you could take, or one other train left that you could take to make it back into the ship on time. When you have to start thinking about that, it becomes it
takes away.
It becomes a little stressful when you're like, okay, I have to get back. And I've been reading in the P&O Azura group that some people, or the Ventura group, some people actually took a cab back because they missed that they couldn't get on the train, so they had to take a cab back. So it's kind of
It's
like
an expensive penalty, whether it's time
thing,
or
yeah.
fare. Yeah. So,
But if you want to stay, then you
Yeah.
could take the cab back. But that would be the only thing.
so Kirsty has a cool question. We do P&O cruise, and we don't do Sindhu or any other paid restaurants. Would you recommend them? I'm going to say this: P&O have we've done both Azura and Ventura back to back. They have the best buffet food on the planet, beats any other cruise line, and that includes Disney. And I can honestly say that without any issue. And they have the best vegan and vegetarian food. If there's any vegans and vegetarians out there, by far the best vegan food I've ever had. I try everything. I'm food fluid. I don't care. I just want to be able to speak eloquently and with some knowledge. So if I'm talking to a vegan or a vegetarian, I'm not just like, yeah, I saw it on the menu. No, I really try to order everything so I can speak about it. And it's by far the best vegan food and vegetarian food and the best Indian food. Ooh wee. Ooh,
So
wee,
good.
the best curry. Oof.
We recommend Sindhu if you like Indian food.
Even at
Now-
the buffet though, the Indian food, the
Yes,
curry was unreal.
So good.
Unreal.
So in the UK, from our experience, and I've been to the UK once before, the Indian food is just amazing. It doesn't. We don't have anything here that compares to the Indian that I've ever had. Now I haven't been to New York and had Indian food or anything like that. So, but it's just really really good. So the Indian food on the ship was also really really good. So it was a treat for us because we don't have that food in Orlando. We also recommend the Beach House, which was such a great restaurant. It's very casual, but it's steak and fajitas and ribs and wings and burgers. It's just a great. I mean, it was just a nice. It was worth it. I think it was a £7 upcharge per person, which is nothing. I mean, you get 4 courses, you get appetizer, dessert, dinner, and so that was kind of nice. I really like that. And then, what was the other one that was that all?
We did Sindhu,
we did Glass House, which ended up being our
we got
favorite.
booted out of Glass House in Ventura because people were sitting. See, the problem with Glass House is it is and it is not a restaurant at the same time. It's also a bar. So people will go in and sit down. It's weird. It's like eating at your living room, by the way. It's like, all the tables are at your knee height. It's like this casual tapas / best friend's house kind of vibe. But anyway, so on Ventura, we could not get on it. And then we got into it on Azura, and we were really bummed because it was amazing. So we ended up doing it, twice?
Yeah, we
on
did.
Azura? Yeah, it was fantastic. How is P&O compared to other cruise lines? Let me put it to you this way. In the U.S., if you've sailed Princess, you've sailed P&O.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yep.
Honestly, Azura and Ventura felt very, very similar to Royal Princess, up to and including the weird main dining room that's hidden on deck 6. Everything felt it was the ultimate princess vibe. The food was similar, the crew was similar, the entertainment was similar. It was just, I got a very princess vibe from the whole deal.
I would agree with that. The ship was almost identical to Royal Princess, which we did back in November of last year. Same feel, same layout, same everything. Everything was just called something different. It was a beautiful ship. It's a very old, like a traditional style cruise ship, just like Princess.
It's just wooden brass. Like
wood
if you've been on Royal Princess, minus the amazing fountain show, if you've been on Royal Princess, you've been on the Azura and Ventura. It's very, very similar.
Hi, Jamie. Sorry, I saw you.
Yeah,
there.
hi, Jamie.
Hi, Jamie. Thank you for joining us.
Jamie from Sharon at Sea is here. Cruising with Wheels is here. There's a lot of amazing humans here. So say hi to everybody.
And yeah, just like Julia, the solo cruiser, they are sister lines. So Princess, they're
they're all
under the Carnival umbrella.
So it's not a stretch to get a real Carnival vibe. And I don't mean that like the Carnival ships. I mean like Princess is a Carnival line. So
Princess
it felt so Princess. It was almost a letdown because I was kind of hoping that for some way, some secret that British cruising was different.
Like
and it's
special.
not.
There's
no.
Oh my gosh, we have another super
Oh my
chat.
goodness.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, it didn't come through.
It hasn't popped up. Oh, there it goes. Oh, ARCJCM. Thank you guys. Oh.
Oh my gosh, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
You guys, we love you guys. If you're not following ARCJCM, they have amazing travel videos and they're gorgeous too. They're really just phenomenally done. Amy, no, I mean, close is relative. It's a 4.5 hour journey from here to Miami. We're in Orlando. So, I guess that's close. Waiting on that train though. Waiting for the Virgin / Brightline train to happen because we don't like that drive.
So Jill, you asked, you're not familiar with P&O. It was not a river cruise. P&O is an ocean liner.
Mm-hmm.
It is, just like Shonda said, it is almost exactly identical to Princess cruises. They're big ships. I think ours held
like 3,600.
Yeah,
a
it
piece.
wasn't a small ship.
Wasn't massive, wasn't small,
but not as big as like Symphony of the Seas and Harmony. But
like,
it was nice.
Any Princess ship, Royal Princess, Caribbean Princess, very similar vibe. Not necessarily the exact same ship, but very, very similar. Very similar vibe. I just like how they do things. Even the one thing about P&O that I really love is their embarkation process is inverted from what we do here in the States. Normally in the States, especially in Miami and Orlando, you go through security first before you see or talk to anybody. And then they put you in a line to check in. And then you may or may not sit down, or you may go on the ship. P&O does it the exact opposite. You walk in, they hand you a card, and they say, go have a coffee, get busy, go do something. And that's what you do. You go have a nice coffee, and then they call your letter, and then you go check in, and then you go through security. So it actually sounds convoluted, but it made so much more sense. And while things were working, like Ventura was glass smooth, the process.
Yeah.
Azura has a ridiculous, we were parked at the Mayflower terminal, and they have this ridiculously long air gate, and the air dropped. The air pressure dropped.
Yeah,
So
they lost their
there
gate.
was a huge gap between the gate and the whatever it attaches to. So they had to wait a while, and that caused a huge backup. But in a perfect world with the system working the way it did, it's way more efficient than how we do things here. So that was impressive.
And I really liked having the snack shop because
Yeah,
everybody
have a
typically
little coffee or a
gets
snack.
to the cruise
Water.
early. So it was nice to get to have a coffee. And actually, we were the only ones drinking coffee. Everybody else was drinking beer and wine. I mean, it was like, I was like, ooh, this is fun. So that was a great way. Everybody was just really excited to start their cruise, and they're cheersing in the terminal. It's very different from American cruises where everyone's kind of angry and mad. They just want to get on the ship.
Yeah, like ARC-JCM just said, look, going right into security from the escalator at the top, so like in Orlando and Miami, you go up and then into security, that's an issue because now you're holding people at the escalator, right? It makes no sense to go through security first. It makes every sense to make sure, A, you've got even paperwork to get on the ship, check in, do all your stuff, and then go through security. So what's funny too, though, for us, we always know it's going to be an issue because every single time they my camera bag goes through and it's all, I'm going to need like everybody here. Like
our
Bob,
camera
I know
bag
Bob's
always
off.
gets
I know he's off today, but
flagged.
call Bob in. Bob's going to want to see this, right? So for us, it's, security is what it is. But they were very efficient, and they're these funny old guys who were talking to us the whole time. And he's like, I don't even know what a vlog is. If you could hand me one, can I touch one? I'm like,
It was
what?
very funny.
It was very funny.
It was the staff at the terminal were all retired age.
Yes.
Which was kind of neat, and they're all happy and friendly, which is the opposite of what we have here in the States. Everyone's kind of angry and they're mean and they're ready for someone to do something wrong and they're going to jump on you, but it wasn't like that. It was just really smooth. For Ventura, Azura had a little bit of issues, but Ventura was super smooth, super easy to get on the ship, and we loved it. It was a great way to start.
Jenna mentioned that the lounge looks super nice. Is a nice embarkation feature, relieves some of the travel stress once you arrive. I did feel a lot less stress in general.
Yeah, me
now,
too.
Americans we're very aggressive. America, we do everything at 125%. It's just how it is. The Brits, thank goodness, don't get nearly as aggressive on day 1 and day 7, or day 8, if you will. The embarkation and disembarkation is a lot calmer, but the way they do things help that vibe very well. And the thing I love about their announcements is they're very polite. Here we're all Group A, Group A. I'm not going to say it again. Group B, Group B. In Britain, it's, excuse me, everyone. May I have your attention, please? Thank you. I pardon the interruption of your conversation. Would Group A kindly jump into the line now? Thank you. Group A. I apologize once again for interrupting your conversation. Thank you and have a great day. I'm like, what is happening? It's the nicest place on the planet, really. Even the signage.
So amazing.
Everything is so great.
So great. So we had some questions.
How did it work with surrendering your passport? That was not a fun thing to do. And it's about as unorganized as everything else on cruise ships have to be.
Yeah, it was not an organized
It was not
procedure.
an organized. So if you're going to surrender your passport, make sure that you know where it is. It's just how it is. Ventura, they were totally cool. I went downstairs the night before first port and said, I want my passport. I don't feel comfortable traveling with a printed copy of a passport. And they're like, no problem. On Azura, they're like, no. Unless the port says, bring your passport, we're not giving it to you. But on Ventura, all the port said, you need your passport. So it worked out in our favor. Surrendering your passport is nerve-wracking. These rumors about things you can and cannot do. Your printed out copy of your passport is not legal in any way, shape, or form. It's the only thing it's going to do is if you walk into an embassy, it's going to save you a little bit of time to get you a new copy of your passport.
It's good to have one.
It's good to have one just in case. The people at the port may or may not accept it, but it's not 100% legal. We talked to the people at the desk and they're like, we've had people get in trouble where they had to run down and bring the passport to the port security. So it was weird. It was weird giving up your one, like Stephanie said in our show, it's weird giving up the one way back into your country.
I think that nothing is organized. I want to say this. First of all, like Sean, we mentioned a while ago, we thought things were going to be different on cruise ship, and it was all the same. So the same chaos that you have on the cruise ships here, you have there. I mean, crews running in 700 different directions. So you start to wonder about, okay, well, where's my stuff? This is a really important thing. I need my passport back. And even when you go to the front desk, we were at the front desk for about 30 minutes trying to figure out where our passports were, how we get them, can we have them, do they need them? Nobody knew anything.
Well, look, it all comes down to human error. It all comes down, there's a safe in the front desk and they can just hand you someone the wrong passport. That's a little not cool by my standards. But someone just asked, Amy asked, why did they take your passports? It doesn't make a lot of sense, but they're saying this: you're traveling in a predominantly EU group of people,
which is the European Union,
right? Which is Stephanie has we have a funny story that Stephanie will share with you about that in a second. There were less than 10 Americans on ship 1 and 10 Americans on ship 2. So every single one of the non-EU passports, and anybody who's non-EU has to do this. Apparently, you have to surrender your passport. So if someone at the port or police or anybody says, "Show me all the non-EU people right here, right now," they can present it without calling. Bill Stevens.
Yeah,
Bill Stevens, come to the front desk, everybody.
You can't herd cats on a cruise ship. So they have all of our passports together. So if the port agents decide that in Norway, they say, let me see all of your non-EU passengers, they can take all of our passports, give them to them, they can look at them, and then they keep them.
And they can put you in a van, and then they can usher you off into no.
No. It's not like that. But that's an ease for them to be able to identify who on the ship is not part of the European Union.
Yes.
Which is great when it works smoothly, but nothing on cruise ships works that smoothly. And we knew this, and we figured it all out. But it is something that I think that I would recommend going to talk to. If the person, and I almost asked this because we almost didn't get the answer we wanted, if the person at the guest services does not have, like, you can tell when they have this blank stare on their face, they have no idea what you're talking about, please ask for security. I almost did that on Azura.
Because look, 3,600 people on board and 10 of them have this problem, right? So the person at the front desk isn't exactly well versed in this. They had to call somebody. Because when I said I'd like my passport, she's like, "How'd you get on the ship?" I'm like, "Man, y'all took it." So.
And hi, Sharon. We saw you jump in there.
Hi, Sharon.
Kick Jamie off.
Oh, poor Jamie. Get out of here. P&O was awesome. I highly recommend it. But it's so much the same. It was identical to many, many cruises. So in a way, it was a little disappointing. I was kind of hoping for some reason that British people just, I don't know, maybe they walked backwards on the ship or did something. I don't know. But I will say this. One thing that the UK did for me that I will never go back. I reject all scrambled eggs unless it arrives on toast. Your scrambled eggs must be on toast. They present it to you on toast. Everything is so fancy. I love the UK. Even my scrambled eggs were fancy. It's crazy.
So somebody asked, I forgot to ask the question. Somebody asked about the buffet food. Oh my gosh!
Oh, thank you, Jill.
Thank you so much, Jill.
Woo.
You are so awesome. Thank you so much. I am feeling much better. I'm getting better.
LuTube said that he had to surrender his Canadian passports on their first celebrity cruise.
Yes, and it was only EU passenger or non-EU passengers.
Okay,
everybody else got to keep theirs.
Non-EU, if you were following us live, the non-EU thing was a very funny subject, but I'm not going to talk about it. Stephanie's going to tell the whole story.
So when you're walking in the airport and you get to Gatwick, there is 2 colors on the wall. You have to basically sort yourself through to go to the right customs thing, and one was orange and one was green. The orange one said non-EU and the green one said EU. Well, I had no idea what EU meant, so I asked Sean, are we part of the EU? Well, Sean impromptu asked me, what part of Europe are we from? And I was like, oh, so there you go. That's the story. I had a few moments like that on our travels.
This is why we could never do Amazing Race. It would get ugly.
If you want to do go here, follow us on Sean's of Cruise Buddies. We were posting all of the antics that were happening.
We were live. We were doing Insta Live because it was the only thing we could connect to. The internet was really rough.
Yes. Follow Go to Cruise Buddies.
Okay, Ella. So this is what we were talking about. Ella asked, when do they give your passports back when you disembark or the night before? Well, here's the thing we were talking about, how cruise ships are not exactly organized. We could have waited for them to give us our passport. They claimed that they would have given a letter in our door and we could have come down and got it or whatever, right? We're not going to wait. So the night before we just said, hey, we're here to get our passport. She called her boss and they're like, yeah, no problem. We were not about to wait because our biggest fear is as we were checking out or going to check out, we were going to have to wait in a giant line to go get our passport on disembarkation. Yeah, that's one thing we did learn. I love Brits. I am not saying this in any way. I'm saying this with all the love. But British people look at queues, which is lines, like it's a bus full of spiders and lions. Like, not a queue! Oh, Q, can't go there. It's a Q. I don't
British
get it.
people do not like to
They
queue.
hate lines. So be prepared for people to jump out of line and create a new anti-line
New queue.
line, a new queue when they see that there's a queue in front of them. So that's really the only difference about P&O. And I honestly say this in love because I love the British people. They were so much fun. This guy was listening to Stephanie's live stream as she butchered every name of every country and every city. And the guy patiently instructed her behind the scenes, like just telling her all the things she was saying was wrong.
So if you would
Very
like to
funny.
know the pronunciation of Stavanger, it's not Stavanger, it's Stavanger.
Stavanger. Yeah, she's like, we're going to Stavanger.
It's like,
No, that's Stavanger.
yes, Joseph, ask your question. We would love to answer. I know it's a comparison question, and hopefully we can answer it. So yeah, we did have a great time.
Which European country? I'm pretty sure there was a tea party or something
And
involved.
Julia, we
Yeah.
would love to sail on Cunard.
Oh,
It's definitely
yeah.
on our list to do it.
Boy, would that be fun?
I would love to do that. I want
I
to
definitely
see
wanna do
like
it. I
the
just-
old school cruising style, like
real.
literally like the Titanic style. We just have fun. So yeah, it was a great time. If you are interested in P&O, definitely do it. Definitely try it. It's not any different. You get to see some amazing places. We did.
Now, I will say this about P&O's family ship. I don't know anything about Britannia or Iona. Iona's supposed to be amazing, and Britannia is probably a little bit better. But if you're used to sail, if you have kids, teenagers, mostly like preteens and teens, and you're used to the Royal Caribbean thing where they have stuff to do, they've got an
Yeah.
arcade. That's it.
I
They've got
would-
nothing for kids.
We
Nothing.
heard on excursions and around the ship and buffet and the buffet line and stuff, the kids complaining about nothing to do. There really isn't a lot to do. Somebody asked about entertainment on the ship. So let me start over. First, talking about kids, if I would be weary about taking kids on a P&O ship,
At least the two that we
on the
sailed
two
on.
that we went on, because there's just nothing. The kids that we heard were
Just like
complaining about
Princess.
the kids club not having anything to do. These are kids, preteen kids, that 10 to 13 age kids not really having anything to do. But so that's just not, we didn't experience in that. What was all overheard by kids talking to their parents. But they don't have an arcade on Azura, which was kind of sad for us because we were hoping to get some Pac-Man Smash in there.
It's a card room.
It's a card room, so check out the activities for your kids but otherwise, it's a great, great ship to travel Europe and see lots of places, which is really, really fun.
Yes, parents, do your research.
Yeah,
If
do
you
your
look up
research.
top and there's a roller coaster and a volcano that you jump out and on a bungee cord, obviously for kids. If you look up top and there are people trading stock secrets, then yeah, it's not for kids.
Yeah.
So
All right, Joseph, let's answer Joseph's
okay,
question.
Joseph asked, my favorite cruises are Disney and Royal Caribbean. What cruise liner or ships are your favorite? I hate to cast a wide net about lines. I think every line does something very specific. I think all lines do what they do specifically well, and what they don't do well, they do terribly. That's every cruise line across the board. I can say the best things and the worst things about every cruise line now that we've done all but HAL, basically. We have done HAL, just not for our channel, so I guess it doesn't count. I will say Symphony of the Seas was the best treatment, the best food overall that we've had ever. It was fantastic. We had the opposite experience on the Allure, so Symphony canceled out the Allure for us and made us have a really great experience. We're going to double down and do Harmony. So right now, at this very moment, my favorite ship would probably be Symphony. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
And then P&O as a real traveler's ship, is a real pared down, all you do is eat, drink, sleep. There's mild entertainment, but you're really there for the ports. If I had to pick that, including the best included food, P&O hands down.
Yeah,
Hands down.
I would agree. Our favorite ship together is Symphony of the Seas. We are excited. Somebody asked when our next cruise is. It's going to be Harmony of the Seas out of Orlando, Port Canaveral in August, which we're really excited about. But my favorite line, it all depends on what you're looking for. If you are not interested in the ports, then you need a ship that has everything to do on the ship. If you want to do laser tag and bowling and zip lining and water slides, all of that stuff, that's different on every ship. P&O all the way around was a fantastic ship to cruise on because you had amazing food, amazing complimentary food and specialty dining. It was the best buffet that we've ever had on any ship. The food was wonderful.
Oh, goodness
a lot of
gracious.
people were asking us about food being different, British food being different
Yeah,
than
saying you weren't
American
gonna
food.
eat.
And it was
all
the
the same.
same.
It's all the same.
Now they have some things like, eggs on toast, which is, it doesn't change the flavor of your eggs. It's just a different
Not in the buffet.
presentation.
Not in the buffet. You
Yeah.
can put them on
Right.
the side. You can make it as American. It's funny. I love what they claim American breakfasts are. By the way, I love the Americanization of everything over there. They just slap this American label on it. So it's like, wow. It's like the skip
Pancakes.
scramble from Arrested
Pancakes.
Development.
So Brandon, talking about entertainment. So for P&O, gosh, it's raining really hard.
Yeah, it's raining really hard. We've got battery backup.
For P&O, we didn't actually get to see a lot of the entertainment because we were so port heavy, and we were staying up until we were getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and going to bed, basically crashing.
We saw the main singers and stuff. We didn't see any of the stage show because
we were just exhausted.
They also it was poorly planned. There's some really great stuff planned on Amsterdam night. And like, come on, it's the one night I don't have to be back for any specific reason. So
yeah, we didn't put a priority on entertainment.
We made a cognizant effort to just focus on the ports because that's why we were there. I will say this, the entertainment is nothing to write home about. They're okay. It's fine. It's just your typical cruise ship entertainment, which is another reason why we didn't really feel all that bad. They do have a good magic show. But you know,
did miss that. It's
just something we just couldn't do.
Our priority for P&O our priority on P&O was to see the ports. That's why we were there. We wanted to explore Europe, and we used P&O to do it. So when we didn't have time, or we were exhausted after literally getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning every single morning, I don't think we got up any later any day, because sea days we had ship tour days, so we literally didn't ever get to sleep in. So we went to bed early. Basically, we had dinner, we'd have a drink, and then we'd go to bed. So it wasn't something that we put a priority on with our P&O adventure. So,
and Isabel just asked, what are some of our favorite dishes? I loved all the curry, the korma, the navratan, both vegan, vegetarian, and carne. It was their Indian food was by far the best Indian food I've ever had in my life. The curry, I could eat. The very first thing on Azura, because we had just been on Ventura, is that we ran to the buffet and I went straight for the curry because I know what's here. So
I think Sharon, see, you were asking about
casinos. Yes,
they did have casino, but
Brits don't gamble.
Very small, and they do not gamble.
It's in the middle of the British pub. The left side or the right side, depending upon your angle, is the casino, and the other side is the pub. It's very, very weird. A few tables,
very small.
A few tables, a few slot machines, but I mean, like nothing like what we're used to under any circumstances.
Like our casinos on cruise ships here are typically full, no matter, not full, but there's somebody playing all the time. At one point it was a sea day, and I was like, is the casino open? There was nobody in there, and it was open as I looked at the slot machines, because usually there's a thing that says we're disabled right now, but it was a sea day, and people could have been in there, but they just weren't in there. It was very, very weird, but they're very small. I would say less than probably 50 slot machines. They have a couple blackjack tables and roulette, I think. So, yeah, it was very interesting to see that. That was really cool. All right, let's see other questions. Would you guys ever consider a river cruise? Yes. So in Amsterdam, we actually got to see our very first river cruise boats. We have never seen their ships before, and they were parked right next to where our bus shuttle dropped us off. And it was so cool to think about that you could be parked right there in Amsterdam. I can't imagine going to these amazing destinations and parking basically right up at the front door. So it's on our list. We are going to check those out and see if we could do some river cruising.
Oh, for sure.
Because the destinations, that's definitely a destination ship, and I would be amazing. Then there's everywhere.
Totally want to do river cruising. That's next. After seeing them, that's, we're way into the ports. I mean, the ships are great, but once you've been on the newest and the biggest, going on the next newest and the next biggest is not always that entertaining. I mean, it has to be something ridiculously new, like the Mardi Gras or whatever, for us to go, yeah, this is great, Yeah. But LuTube just asked, was it easy to take from the train from Waterloo Station to Southampton? Super, super easy. The only thing I'm going to recommend is, one, don't take anywhere near as much luggage as we did, or as the Americans that we found coming back from Southampton. There were some people with like 8 and 12. Literally, this American woman, I bless her heart. We're the only Americans on the train, but. Here's a newsflash, everybody. The UK speaks English. You don't have to speak louder around British people. We at least have some common words. I get it. We speak American. You speak English. We can have that argument all you want. But the point is, we can understand each other. This woman grabs me. I don't know her. We're not even from the same ship. She grabs me in the back of the collar. I'm shooting Stephanie with the Osmo. Life is good. She's all, Gatwick.
It's going to Gatwick?
Gatwick? No. Just Gatwick. There's no, is this going? I thought she was putting a hex on me. Like, I thought, Gatwick, So then I turn around and go, yes, ma'am, this is eventually going to Gatwick. If you look at the thing, though, it's like 45 stations away. So let's just calm down a little bit. Let's not,
She had like 17 bags.
She had 17 bags. So my long-winded point about the train is try to reduce your number of bags. And if you can, buy first-class tickets or buy a second seat for your luggage. Because on the way back, there was no room, and these other Americans were taking up tons of space. I took up one extra seat, And this woman made a federal case about it and just completely blasted
so
me on the
nasty.
train. And to where all the locals were looking at her like, yo, especially when there was tons of room behind me. She just wanted to make it a point, right? Yeah. So I highly recommend always traveling first class. We did it once. We didn't do it on the way back because the guy convinced Stephanie not to pay the money for first class.
Against my better wishes.
And it was against her better wishes. She always follows her gut instinct and didn't. And as a result, I got a public scolding. But you know what? I believe that makes me an honorary Brit. So just like, if you don't kill unless you've killed a cockroach with bare hands, you're not a New Yorker. I think until you're publicly scolded by the elderly, you're not a real Brit.
Yeah. So it was, the train is really easy. Thank you, Julia, for the recommendation to stay at the Waterloo Hotel right next to the train station. So the Waterloo train station has trains and it also has the underground entrance. So you can take both things, go into London and then go to the Southampton or anywhere else, Brighton. You can go anywhere you want on the train. It was really simple. Okay. So there is an online app or an app for your phone called Trainline. And I used that app to purchase train tickets from London to Southampton because that was the most important leg of our trip. So we had to get from our hotel to the cruise ship, and so I looked online to book a ticket. You can book them online, and I was afraid they would sell out. So here in the United States on Amtrak and stuff, you're not allowed to stand on trains. You have to have a seat, and they sell tickets. So I was afraid that if I didn't purchase a ticket before we went on the cruise, that we would miss out and we would be late to the cruise, and the cruise would just sail away without us, and we'd be stuck in Southampton with no cruise ship. So I wanted to buy this ticket, and I bought it on Trainline. I ended up paying almost 2.5 times the cost that I would have paid in the train station. Had I known that, I would have just paid in the train station and not on the app. So I wish I had known that before we left. But it was nice to have first class because nobody else used first class. So you have lots of space for your luggage. Nobody's yelling. Nobody's
Brendan would
screaming.
like you to explain what the difference between first class and typical.
Okay, so the only thing different between first class is a sheet that goes on the back of the thing that says first class, back of your seat.
Get out.
It is the same. You have your whole train. Is it a section? What do you call train pieces? Train, from door to door. That little train section is only for, you pay an additional cost. It was an additional £10 when you bought it through the train station, the ticket machine. So it was an extra £10 per person if you want to be in this little section that's all by yourself. I mean, other people can go in there, but nobody used it. So everybody just bought regular tickets because you can stand on the trains in the regular trains in the UK. But in first class, you don't have to worry about anybody yelling about your luggage, where to put it. I mean, it was a nightmare in the other class.
So if you have a lot of luggage, just fork over money for a cab or an
train
Uber.
car. Thank you.
Julia, the solo cruiser, kind of laughed at us a little bit because I did carry that luggage up and down stairs in train stations that didn't have lifts or the lifts were broken. And, it was, if I could do this exact trip over again, I'd cut our bags in half. That's just how it is.
Yeah, so we ended up wearing, clothing-wise, if I were to pack again, we would need 2 shirts, if it was cold, not hot, because you're not sweating. So that's a big difference because none of your clothes are really getting soiled. And they do have free complimentary laundry on P&O, which is very nice. We did use it for when we went to our second week of cruising. But I would have taken 2 sweatshirts, 2. I would have taken 1 t-shirt to wear underneath our clothes. So because if you get cold, you start to chafe because we were really dry because there's no humidity in the UK. So we were very dry and bristly. So we had t-shirt underneath, 2 sweatshirts, 1 formal outfit, and 1 pair of jeans. That's it. And then I would have taken underwear and stuff for the appropriate amount of days of the cruise, like 7 to 8 pairs of underwear. I definitely won't skip on that. But definitely for clothing wise, we could have taken half the amount of clothing because we were always wearing a coat.
Yep.
And we ended up wearing the same shirts that were the most comfortable because we were trekking and hiking and running around. And it was just easier just to have less things. And we could have taken 2 carry-on size suitcases and would have been fine.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The cool thing about traveling by train though was you get to see all the countrysides and you get to see more than you probably would via car. I love trains. We don't have legit mass transit here. We just don't. So, I mean, you do in New York, that's about it, right? But we don't have anything equivalent to what the UK has. So we wanted every opportunity to kind of travel and see and explore. And going from London to Southampton and back is very, very simple. It's just like, an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes?
It was easy.
Yeah, super easy.
First class was the easiest. And like I said, there's not a different
Please don't attempt
seat.
the underground of luggage. I guess we won't.
No tube with our luggage because that would be crazy. Although we would have been fine.
Yeah.
I want to go smaller next time. When we do our next European cruise, we're not going to take nearly as much. And I actually got us down to hardly anything as it was, but one pair of shoes, one pair of dress shoes, and that's it.
I think 10 pounds is like what, $13?
I think it is
Something like that. I don't. It's
yeah,
not,
there's AirTC.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
$13. Yeah, that's about right. So not much. Their difference for pounds to dollars wasn't that much.
It's negligible. It's,
it was
you
just
know,
a couple
unless you're
bucks.
buying, if you're spending hundreds of dollars, then obviously it's gonna.
So
come
yes,
get ya.
we are going on Harmony of the Seas. We will go to Coco Cay, which is nice.
Yeah, Isabel
Perfect
asked
day.
if we got another European trip planned. That is the only discussion here at the time. Is
The
how
only
do we
thing we're
get?
talking? How do we do it again?
What country do we go to, or countries do we do? And right now the debate is huge. It's do we do a cruise ship again? Do we do a river cruise, or do we just fly there and do a tour
travel.
and travel on our own? So we're really trying to figure out everything because we got a little bit of taste of the opposite of cruise ship life in Amsterdam. Not wrist turning was a wonderful, wonderful thing, and boy, did it suck the next day and the next day after that. So not that we're giving up on cruise ships, love ship life, but just looking at, is it cruise ship, river cruise, or just travel in Europe? So we're trying to figure it all out. And what's going on?
Alaskan sailors. Oh my gosh, you have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
we had the issue with the laundry.
Oh, no.
and-
Yeah, okay,
oh,
hold on. Let's back it up. So, yeah, in the United States, you touch a dude's laundry, you will get capped. You will get cut.
There is a time frame.
It will
Like
be-
usually you give somebody, 10, 15-minute grace period to come back. Like when you're in college, you give somebody a grace period on time.
Okay, well,
1 minute.
Yeah, literally walked in
1
as the buzzer hit, and the dude's got his grubby, dirty hands all over my clean laundry, throwing it on the ground, and I'm like, man, I just don't.
1
Is
minute.
it socially acceptable to beat an elderly man? I don't know. So. Yeah, people get crazy rude. It's like Highlander. It's the only time that the Brits throw down. It's straight up Highlander. There can be only one.
There
in
is
this
a
thing.
cue, any kind of line. It doesn't matter if they're waiting for anything. It was like
And it wasn't just
Rumble.
us. We watched people come in and just yank clothes
Just
out.
yank
and,
'em out,
and it
throw
was
'em down.
obviously not theirs because it hit the ground and they walked away. It's like, wow, that is. And then, of course, the owners of those clothes come in and look at you. You're like, yo.
yeah, we did not.
I'm
do that.
American. I'm not willing to do that nonsense. That's crazy town. But don't look at me.
Oh,
don't
man,
look
it
at
was-
me.
That was rough.
So that was really the only, but just like all other cruise ships, the only thing that ruins cruise ships, the only bad thing about cruise ships when you really boil it all down are people. And so people are people.
People
There are
ruin
jerks in every part of the world, and we met all of them all over the world. Not saying it's full of jerks. I'm just saying there are jerks everywhere. We don't have we don't own the lion's share of the jerks. They're everywhere.
Yes, and we would love to do a river cruise, Allison. That is on our thinking. And yes, ARJCM, we are very close to traveling. So my big thing right now is the cost. And I'm trying to figure. It's actually kind of like a game for me right now to see how we can do this as cheap as possible.
But Stephanie likes it. She
I
loves
do love
the strategizing.
it. It's very fun for me. So I'm taking the base price. So it cost us. I think we paid $2,800 for both of our cruises, which is fantastic, wonderful. So I'd like to see, and then we ended up spending probably about, I'm going to say close to $2,500, $3,000 on top of that with excursions, food, alcohol, all the miscellaneous stuff that comes with cruising, our hotels in London. So all of that came to about $3,000. So let's just round it up to $5,000. I think we can travel in Europe for under $3,000, and I kind of am trying to figure it out.
No hostels. No hostels. I'm not putting Stephanie in danger of any kind.
As
Not
a
just
game for myself,
in
I'm
any
trying to
gen- in
figure
any
out
way.
if it's possible to travel with $3,000 through Europe. We didn't pay for flights, but everything else we did pay for. So it'd be kind of nice because I feel like, even $5,000 wasn't that much to spend for 21 days in Europe total, but I'd like to get that down a little more. So we're going to see if I can actually plan that out. So that would be really good. David, the airfare, I cannot remember. It was points wise for us. So
Yeah, it was.
I don't remember what the cost was.
It didn't cost us money.
So if money were no object, what would be our dream cruise?
It's a good question, Isabel. I would like to do a world cruise or the
World
Galapagos.
cruise.
One of the other.
That includes the
Yeah,
Galapagos.
there you go. World cruise that includes the
And
Galapagos.
Alaska.
Problem solved.
And Antarctica and all the cold places and Australia. Just a world cruise around.
But seeing where the river cruise boats dock in Amsterdam and seeing where they also dock in France and Germany, kind of getting bit by the river cruise bug. I don't necessarily want, an upside down carousel trampoline on a ship right now. I really want to get really up front and close into the ports and not necessarily have to worry about shuttle buses or all the nonsense that comes with going from a port that's an hour and a half away. And ARC, JCM, you have a really good point. We've been debating this for a while. We asked this on a live stream a while ago, like, would you all still follow us if we did traveling non-cruise ship related? And it was a resounding yes. We're not giving up cruising in any way, shape, or form, but it's just one of those things where when you've been bit by the travel bug and you really understand that traveling around Europe is not that big of a deal, it's really just not, then you're like, well, I would love to stay in these ports for longer than 4 hours because I can have dinner. Like the biggest thing about Cadiz, when we were in Cadiz on our TA last year, all these beautiful restaurants in the alleyways only open at 5 o'clock and later, where our call was like 4 o'clock. So I would have loved
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I would have loved to see the nightlife in Cadiz. Same with Puerto Rico. We've only been scheduled nighttime docking in Puerto Rico one time, and it got pushed. So
canceled.
Yeah, so. There are pros and cons to cruising. Cruising is cheaper. You're safer. It's easier for people with allergies. The food is typically could be better. You don't have to do any thinking. The thinking's done for you.
It's training wheels. It's
Yeah,
traveling with training wheels.
Yeah.
You have a safety net. You have a safety blanket that you always come back to home base. It's fantastic because you only have to unpack one time and you get to be in the same space as far as your hotel room. But there are some drawbacks as far as, getting to see stuff in different hours of the day, like being able to see in Amsterdam from sun up. We literally watched the sunrise in Amsterdam and we watched it set. That's something that you typically don't get to do on a cruise ship. And bless you,
little buddy.
Kitty sneezing.
Sneezers.
That's something that you don't typically get to do on a cruise ship. So that was really, really nice. And yes, Crazy Cat Traveler. I know 5,000 is about right. So I'd like to do that under 3, which would be really cool.
That's Stephanie. She plays every game like no
that's
whammies. No whammies. Come
No
on.
whammies, no whammies.
Let's get it down to 3, everybody. Boop, 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 beep. Oh, whammy. So that's just Stephanie. But we're just really bit by the travel bug. For the very first time ever, we weren't homesick. We did not want to come home. We just wanted to keep traveling.
We just wanted to stay.
Wasn't tired of traveling. Actually wasn't sick until we got on that nasty airplane. So it was really kind of like everything in Europe is so Americanized. I hate to say that because there's beautiful architecture and wonderful culture, but there's also a lot of Americanized nonsense. I saw Five Guys there like 100 times, so
Five Guys, Taco Bell, Burger King,
yeah,
McDonald's, it's all the same.
London especially is about as Americanized as you can get. If you've been to New York, you've been to a much, London's a smaller New York. It's not difficult to navigate. It's wonderful, and the train system's amazing, and everyone's super friendly, and the food is unreal. So I think we're just kind of trying to figure out, like, do we do like do we go to Iceland? Do we do the Northern Lights? Do we try to do Ireland or Scotland? There's just so many. I want to do Japan so bad, and I don't think I want to do it on a cruise ship. I think I want to spend some time in Kyoto. I want to hang out in the robot cafe.
Yes, David, that is true. We're Sean and Steph. We're not Sean and Steph cruising. We have always known that we possibly would. I know I said probably possibly. That's very funny. Would start traveling on our own without a cruise ship, and that I think it's going to happen. I think we're getting there. We're just trying to figure out the monetization part of it and the money part of it. Oh gosh, my brain is fried. So yeah, we're getting there. Somebody asked, who asked that? Amy asked, was it weird being on a cold cruise?
It was the best thing ever.
For us, because it's always hot here in Orlando.
Hot.
It was so refreshing to be on a cold cruise where we didn't have to sweat. It was just so nice.
It was very nice.
It was wonderful. I loved being cold. I loved wearing a coat and a hat. And somebody asked where I got my hat. I got my hat on Amazon. I will put a link somewhere. I have to make a post about it because everybody wants that hat. It was the best hat ever.
Buns hat.
So I had buns even though I didn't have buns. It was so great. But it was just wonderful to not be hot.
Yeah.
And it was nice. We really liked it. It was really cool. And it was cool to see snow not falling on the mountains.
Matthew, it's been so long since we've been in a Haven room, but from what I understand, it's like double what it used to be. So Robbie Cruises is the person we need to ask about that. If you're in the channel, Robbie, please let Matthew know.
Bermuda, they stay overnight in Bermuda.
Yes, Bermuda. See, that's the overnight is a game changer. I had no idea. I was like, why would you want to spend that much time? Now I definitely know. You absolutely want to spend. So the thing about Bermuda is they have whale watching, right? Amazing whale watching. But here's the problem. It's never through the ship, and it's always within minutes of your time where you got to pull out. So if you can get an overnight in Bermuda, you don't have to worry about it. You can go whale watching and not worry about it. And that's the kind of things we're looking for because right now, we've done so many cruises. We did 10 last in 2018, and we'll have done 6 this year. We've already done 4, And the disappointing thing with P&O is we've come to the realization that cruising is all the same. It's within a percentage of, every ship is within a small percentage of one another. There's no such thing as it's such a dramatically different thing. It's not like, oh my gosh, I'm on a ship. No, it's just,
It was the same.
It was the same. It had a very Disney Magic vibe, a very Royal Princess vibe, lots of wooden brass, lots of, there's just little tiny cultural differences. That's about it. There's really, and the food is 90% the same. The entertainment, I mean, it's all Ed Sheeran and Adele, and I mean, they love themselves some Ed Sheeran. Holy cow. Ed Sheeran is, I mean,
Emma Cruz has said it's their one, it's the UK's claim to fame. So Ed Sheeran.
Yeah. So, but it's all the tracks you've heard. I mean, it's not, there's no surprises.
It was just, we recommend it. It was really fun. It is not any different than cruises here. You just wake up in different locations with different weather. It's just basically the same as far as cruising goes. The ports that we had were so awesome. The Amsterdam, Brugge. I mean, we were supposed to go to Guernsey. We didn't get to go to Guernsey. And
apparently nobody does. So
it's a tender port, so nobody gets to really ever tender there because of the waves and the wind. And then Norway. I mean,
the fords were unbelievable.
We saw things in Norway that I didn't even think were possible. Just like the nature and the mountains and glaciers, and it was just amazing. Such a great thing. And it was nice. We planned a bunch of stuff, which you'll see in the vlogs way down the line. We're not through Ventura yet, but you'll see that we didn't plan a lot of stuff. We did a lot of stuff on our own, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, you do the ship tours because you don't want to get left behind. That's the only reason. It's not to save money. I mean, and it's never the best of the available tours in the area. Look, cruising's all about making money, and they make money off of these vendors. So what's happening typically with the vendors that we've talked to anyway, is that if your tour costs $150, that means the tour is actually $75, and they're basically doubling and pocketing it. So that's just how it is. It's just so it's never the best deal, and sometimes they're taking even more than half, and people on the other side aren't very happy about it. So. Yeah. I'm really starting to look into more experiential things in specific areas. Would love, like ARC, JCM just said, the Nile. Would love to do Africa. Would love to do Asia. Would love to do. We met so many amazing people in Bali. The cool thing about the P&O ships that we were on is they were predominantly from Bali, and several of them were like, "I'll give you a tour when you come home. Here's my email address, and just when I come home, just call me, and we'll give you a tour all around Bali." So now we've got a private tour from someone that we met on a ship. That's crazy, right?
That's really nice.
I definitely want to kind of do that kind of stuff. I feel like a cruise in Asia would be too quick.
Yes, it would be nice to be able to just walk by ourselves.
Yes, if you're not subscribing to ARC JCM, check them out. They have gorgeous footage.
They do have amazing footage. So yeah, that was pretty much our time. I know we're going over, but there's so much to talk about.
Oh my gosh,
I mean,
yes.
It's just crazy.
21 days in Europe was amazing. I just want to go back.
It was just so wonderful. Definitely recommend it. Oh my gosh, if you can do it, do it, because it's something. Even looking back, Sean just finished the Amsterdam day, and getting to relive it and watch it again. It's just like, I want to do it again and again and again and again and again and again. Much fun.
It's the longest, the most we've ever shot on any port ever.
We walked 16 miles.
Yeah.
So we ended up taking a canal tour, but we walked every single canal in Amsterdam. It was so fun. You did not need a visa for this trip. When we booked with P&O has a special link, which I'm sure you can find it, but it's linked through their site that takes you to a visa site that you put in your country, where you're going, and it tells you if you need a visa, and you do not need a visa for Norway or Amsterdam or Belgium.
Did we mention the oddities of booking with P&O? Have we talked about that?
The oddities?
Yeah. So if you're an American or a North American, you only have two options for booking a P&O cruise. One would be directly through P&O, which is fine. And two would be the only travel agency that has an exclusive deal, which is Vacations to Go. They brokered some kind of unholy deal where you can
travel agent.
It doesn't matter who your travel agent is or who they know.
If you're from the United States.
If you're from North America, from the United States or Canada, you have to book through Vacations to Go or directly through P&O. Your TA does not apply here. So we get that question a lot. Sorry, it's just how they made some kind of weird exclusive deal. It's not like there were a ton of Americans, but we did see literally a boatload of Americans on the Britannia. So I think it's much more similar to the Royal Caribbean style things maybe, or something, I don't know, but there were less than 5 on the first ship and less than 10 on the second ship for us, but on Britannia there was like 150 Americans just rolling around.
They were all in our hotel. Yeah. We stayed at the Harbor Hotel in Southampton, and it was all American.
Yeah, all Americans.
I was like, where are we? Because we just got off the Ventura and it was all British all the time, and then I was like, what's happening? It was so weird to hear people with an American accent. I'm like, whoa.
Alaskan sailors, we're wanting to do Alaska, but we're
Yes.
honestly thinking about just flying up there. Like you said, you flying from anywhere to catch a cruise is a huge expense. Same with Alaska for us. So I mean, obviously you can fly to Seattle and stuff. That's a little bit less expensive, but from Orlando to Seattle is not typically a cheap flight for us.
Yeah, that's true.
But we definitely want to see Alaska. But you know, we've been reading all these land and sea things. Like there's hotels and there's trains and there's all these things that you should do that you probably can't do in a ship. So
It's very true. All right. Anybody have any more questions?
yeah, we're running long.
We're running long, so
Thank you for everyone for jumping in.
Thank you for everyone for staying and for watching. We have a lot of people in here. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Hope everyone's having a great Mother's Day.
Yeah,
everyone out there. Let's see. Any other questions? Did we miss anything?
We'd like to thank, while Stephanie's looking, we'd like to thank Emma and Ben and David and Julia for all hanging out with us. It was so cool to meet with other YouTubers, and you never know what they're going to be like. You really don't. People put their best versions of themselves or a controlled version of themselves out in video. It's just the nature of video. So when you meet with them and they're really down to earth and they're very fun and they're just a lot of great people, it really is. It was just a remarkable thing. I think we made some fast friends.
Wonderful.
So it was really a wonderful time to just kind of spend time with each other and just talk YouTube. You don't get to talk that side of YouTube with very many people. So it was a lot of fun.
Yep. And so
And thank you for your kind words, ARCJCM. That you guys, we love you all.
Stephanie asked, what was your favorite drink you had on the ship?
Oh, you had, what was that really cool one that you got? The cotton candy one? Was that it? No. Oh, hey, buddy.
I don't think we had a special drink on P&O.
Oh, no. The yellow drink, the porn star. That's what it's called. Remember?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
It was called a porn star.
It was really good. It was on
a
special
fantastic-
because we didn't have a drink pass. They do have a drink pass on P&O, but we did not have a drink pass. And so this drink, the porn star drink, is
Super refreshing.
a side of Prosecco. It comes in a little champagne glass. And then it's like a mango drink. So when you drink them together, it's kind of like a fizzy mango drink.
It was really good.
It was very, very good, very tasty. And it was on sale.
Yeah.
So we did the sale drinks.
Because we don't have the drink pass and we try not to spend money so we can go on other cruises. So
Yes.
alcohol is the one that always adds up quick.
Yeah. So we just always get like a nightcap or one before dinner. We don't drink a lot on the ships anymore. But I will say that the drink prices on P&O are the most reasonable that we've
Most
ever
affordable.
seen they're actually normal prices where it's like $3 or $4 for a drink. Unlike some cruise ships,
8, 9, 10.
not mentioning any names, are now up to like 12. Like your round is like $30.
Plus built-in gratuity.
I mean, it's crazy.
There is no built-in gratuity on P&O ships.
Yes.
So
Okay, so we're going to leave you with this. We have already premiered our day one of Ventura. You know Ventura. It premiered yesterday, actually.
yep, day 2 will be out next week.
Day 2 will be out. I think we're going to do Wednesday.
Ship tour day. Yeah.
Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. I know that a lot of UK people, you'll miss it, but it'll be ready for you to watch it the next day. But we are going to premiere it at 8 o'clock on Wednesday. So set your alarms now, 8 o'clock. It's ship tour day on P&O Ventura.
Ship
it's
tour
really
day.
fun, really, really exciting. So Disney, yeah. But actually, Disney is not the highest. Somebody else is higher.
Oh,
Disney
yeah. You'd be surprised.
now. And oh yes, it is in pounds, Isabel. I think you
Everything's
asked
in
that before.
pounds.
Everything's in pounds. But we have a Chase credit card, so the exchange rates are actually really, really good.
Yeah, the card actually allows you in many cases to pick which exchange rate you want. So that was interesting.
Yeah, so it was really good. So we are going to see everyone on Wednesday at 8 o'clock for the premiere of Ship Tour Day, Day 2. And what we're going to do is we're going to leave you with the bloopers. Since you all have stayed with us this long, and we'll leave you with the bloopers. So we want to say thank you to everyone for joining us today. I'm glad we're back. We'll be back again next Sunday at 4 o'clock with another Sundays with Sean and Steph. We have a couple giveaway stuff. I think we're going to give away some things from this cruise. I wasn't quite ready, so we had some.
Yeah, there was pure chaos, and that's not we.
So
One of us was calm, cool, and collected. The other, not so much.
So yeah, it was a stressful afternoon for me.
Indeed.
And then hopefully in a week I'll be even more headspace better. But we're gonna leave you the bloopers.
Yeah, we
from
love each and every
P&O
one of you.
Ventura.
Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being a part of our community.
Thank
We
you
love
for
you all.
showing up.
Thank you for all the YouTubers who jumped in. Thank you.
Thank you
to
for all of our super
Jamie and
chats.
Sharon.
Oh my
Thank you
gosh.
to Cruising with Wheels. Thank you for everybody for jumping in.
Yes.
Thank you to all of our fans and friends. You all are awesome. Thank you for putting up with us being gone for four weeks. That was something we did not plan, so we really thank you.
Yeah.
So here comes the.
That we're gonna say good night.
Good
Happy
night.
Mother's Day. We'll see you Wednesday if you can make it at 8 o'clock, but we'll definitely see you Sunday at 4 o'clock next week. Here are the bloopers for Piano Ventura.
For those of you who have seen this already, nobody mentioned the bloopers. I wonder if you watched to
Did you watch
the
to
end.
the end? All right, guys. Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.
Enjoy
Bye.
your week. Have a great week, everyone. And happy Sunday, happy Mother's Day, all that stuff. Bye.
We love you all.
Hang on a second. We're having some audio issues. I am having the worst time. Okay, let's try again. I know it's here. It says it's here. Darn, no sound. Yeah, hold on. Put in there, right in there that it's coming. It's not that. It's right here. It was on mute. Hang on. We're going to let everybody catch up, and I'm going to say hello to everyone. So here it comes. Here's the bloopers. Have a great weekend. Bye, guys.
It's impossible to get good help these days.
Still on.
Oh, sorry.
God, it's cold.
Yeah, it is.
Good morning, everyone. As you can see, we're starting our tour on the top deck, because that's the ocean behind me. I'm going to start again.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
We are now on deck 17. Is that right?
No.
Come over here. What more better way? What? We are now makeup and perfume still on deck 5. You will find your There are 2 floors to the beachcomber pool, so there is a seating area on top, and on top you will also find pool tables, which is really neat. So try again. We are now on deck 15. We're midship, still on deck 15. Right past the Havana Club, still on deck 7, you will find the photo gallery. I mean, what more could you ask for? Piano bar, nice.
Yeah, let's.
Right past the arcade, still on deck 6, in the front of the ship, you will find the Fortunes Casino. Come down here,